Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Wake up!
Get out of bed. The alarm clock is buzzing. I fear that was an elephant, actually. That was not an alarm clock. Or Perry the Platypus, perhaps?
You know what? My therapist told me to think of Perry the Platypus whenever I'm having a panic attack. That's funny you say that.
And that, guys, that was a licensed therapist.
She went to college for about 12 years to tell me that I need to think of Perry the Platypus whenever I'm having a panic attack.
And did that advice work for you?
Yes, it did.
Right, and there you have it, folks.
It works for me right now. I'm really fucking happy thinking about Perry the Platypus.
Wow.
Anyhow, I hope you guys have been great.
Yeah, welcome back to the podcast. We missed you guys.
Seriously, I hope this week was great for you. I mean, a Chipotle bowl.
Yeah.
So, another mukbang coming right at you.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying some good old fresh air, so.
Alright, bitch, are you calling me fat?
No. I'm just saying, I am not eating this episode. We were just really into those grapes last time, so.
You know what? Somebody texted me and was like, I'm craving grapes, like, after watching this, like.
Sorry if it was disgusting to you, and sorry if you're craving grapes.
It was fucking delicious, I can't lie, though.
Yeah, they were really good. I actually eat grapes a lot before I go to bed now, because, like, if I'm craving sugar and I don't want to, eat something, like, that's, I guess more, like, tart, like, sweet, kind of like, you know, something more desserty, I'll eat grapes, and it works. Like, they're so good, and I feel like they make me feel more hydrated at the time, too, because it's always before I go to bed.
Grapes are, like, I feel like fruit is the best way to eat sugar without eating sugar.
Yeah, I love it.
There's a lot of fucking sugar in fruit, like.
Yeah. Obviously, like, no shame.
Good sugar.
No shame to anyone who eats, like, cookies or, like, cake or shit, because, like, don't get me wrong.
Bitch, that's American tradition.
Yeah,
That's our fucking heritage.
I personally love, like, a good pastry of some kind.
There's a pastry store.
Or cheesecake. That's, like, my favorite dessert, and I really do try not to eat anything else. I do. It's hard.
There was cheesecake at my birthday party. Did you see it?
I did. And you know what? I had to avoid it that day because I was full. But if I had the room...
If I had the room. If I had the room.
A cheesecake is something that really does hate to see me coming.
They hate to see me sprinting.
They blinking on there.
Well, it's like, you know them TikToks where both of us don't have TikTok, but where you, like, it'll, like, shut the eye, and then it'll open up, and there's, like, someone's getting closer, like, every frame.
I figure I don't know that one.
Alright, that's fine, though.
Okay.
Alright. Anyways, everyone,
yeah, went on a little tangent about fruit, and then to TikTok.
Devon, what's been up with you?
You know?
Start us there.
Okay. I've just been, you know, handling adultly affairs, I guess. All the bills that you have to pay. A job. You know, rent for, like, living, and then
Wait, do you pay your mom rent?
I do.
What?
Because, I mean, I'm 20. I think I should pay rent as well.
Does she make you? Or do you
Yeah. I mean, like, understandably, though. Because, like, you know, it's another person coming back into their household after 6 months. So, I get it. Especially an adult. Like, I'm not, like, a kid anymore. Mm-hmm. So, like, I pay rent, and then I have my credit card, and then, you know, when I get a car, there's going to be that, and then, you know, just savings in general. So, like, there's a lot of, like, you know, budgeting and stuff going on. But I've been figuring it out. And I think I'm fine now, but as I talked about in, like, the previous episode or episodes, like, I was really stressed out, like, a few weeks ago, like, at the end of August.
We all were.
And after, like, coming back to myself and, you know, just, like, recentering and, like, handling all these things I am, like, calmly and, like, I'm very relaxed, I realized that there's just so much fear. There was so much fear that was within me, and I was like, I need to overcome this because I don't want it to get to the point where it's debilitating to me, and I'm already more stressed out than I typically am, and it's affecting me. And I'm like, I'm not going to let that happen anymore. I need to basically take back control and ownership of my life.
I forget who I was listening to, but they said caution breeds fear. And I thought that was so interesting. Like, being cautious of something, like not following your gut instinct, that'll breed fear in you. And, like, I was just talking to my coworker who's, like, deciding whether he wants to be an associate's degree and just do 2 years, or if he would rather, you know, go for 4 years and transfer to a college. And he just keep staring at that button. You know what I mean? And it's like...
That's what I'm thinking about, and I haven't even started.
Right? And it's like that caution, it takes away your ability to follow your intuition. You know what I mean? There's that gut... And he said that he doesn't know what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And I literally said to him, I said, yeah, you do. It's right down here in your gut, and you just have to follow that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't overthink the decision. Like, if it's something you want, follow it. You don't need to worry about how you're going to get there or, you know, when even you're going to get there. But you will figure it out. Because if that's something you truly want and are, like, passionate about, then you can really achieve anything. And I truly believe that because each time I have had that feeling or that ambition, and it really was something I couldn't escape and something that, like, called to me and something that was a part of me, I claimed it, and it was the best thing I've done each time. This is why I'm where I'm at now and why I've succeeded through each, you know, big plot point in life that was a make or break, I feel like, for a lot of people.
What would you say is, like, something that you kind of just took a leap of faith in your life?
I would honestly say... I have two answers. One, I'll say because it's simple and short, I don't need to elaborate too much, is when I was younger, going from middle school into high school, I truly was, like, a ball of anxiety. Like, each day I went to school, like, sweating, nervous, borderline, like, panic attack, and I hid it really well, but, like, it was a terrible feeling to, like, you know, trifle with and lead with each day. But eventually I just realized, you know, it doesn't matter what people think. I was, like, so fed up and mad that I was like, I don't fucking care what anybody thinks about me. It only matters how I feel and what I think about myself. And then from that point on, I just started working on myself, and I did great. But the other thing I'd say is definitely leaving home for the first time. And leaving for half of a year and traveling across the state. Really. To multiple different states.
There's, like, something to be said, and I've been thinking about this recently, like, there's something to be said for how coming into your own mortality, like, realizing that you will die is something that kind of happens, like, in the stages of life that we're at. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you finally figure out that you can get hurt and you can die.
And you might not have tomorrow.
That kind of strikes something in you to, like, pursue what you want to pursue. Like, what genuinely makes you happy.
Right.
And, like, that's exactly why we kind of started this podcast, because it's like, you know, having your voice out there for a lot of people to possibly hear is extremely terrifying. Like, it's you could say something wrong, or people could take
interpret it their own way.
Right? People could take it wrong. And also, like, sometimes what you're saying just might not click with a group of people, and that's fine, but, like, it's extremely terrifying to face all those things and put your voice out on the internet, like, on God's internet. Like, the internet is a scary fucking place, and for us to do this, like, it's kind of terrifying. And, like, although it's just our friends right now that kind of listen to it, like, it could pick up at any moment, and then you have an audience. Yeah. And, like, even knowing that whenever we started it, I think it was subconscious that we were like, fuck it. Like,
yeah,
let's just do it. Like, we might die tomorrow, and what a life we would have lived if we didn't create something beautiful and that we were proud of and something we're passionate about. Like, this is, like, a passion project to us, and I think that is bred out of rejecting fear.
I agree. Because it truly has. I've seen it make both of us better people, and it's made us, I think, in our own way, push our limits more. Mm-hmm. Because we have more of a reason to. We have something to do certain things for now, quote unquote, you know.
It also has changed my perspective a ton. Like, whenever
100%.
I walk down the street, I'm not, you know, you have to kind of think of, you kind of have to have a motive to think of the things that I think about. Like, whenever I'm walking down the street, you know what I mean? Like, let me put it this way.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
If I'm walking down the street, right, and I see, like, somebody who's obviously, like, drugged out or something like that, and, like, on first thought, I'm kind of, like, afraid, and, you know, I just feel, like, a little bit creepy, right? But then, like, knowing that I might be able to talk about that and have a platform on this podcast to extend a hand to that group of people who is affected by addiction and kind of look at it in a different perspective and have a reason to do that because I get to talk about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
Is inspiring. I do that with so many different things in my life now. Yeah. Where I look at it and I'm like, okay, you know, typically I would keep that thought to myself and it kind of just falls into the distance of thoughts I've had in the past, in my lifetime. You know what I mean? And now I get to put those onto a landscape for people to see. And it's like, that makes me want to interpret shit to the farthest extent I possibly can.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm so happy for you. Oh my goodness.
That was so hard to put into words. You have no clue.
Because it's a feeling. The most real feelings truly are hard to put into any kind of description through words. And I stand by that.
I stand by that.
I do. Because, I mean, like, we even talked about it last time. Like, how do you describe love? Like, it's just, like, it's not... Like, stuff like that. Like, deep emotion / whole other... Like... It's a whole other thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so many fascinating parts about us as people.
What's the deepest love you've ever felt in your life?
I'd definitely have to say my mom.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's like the first face I remember. It's the person I grew up with for the most part. It was us for a very long time. So, I mean, we just have, like, a bond that's very different and an impression that is permanent. For sure. But we have a relationship that is continuously growing and flourishing in its own ways. And it's beautiful. So, yeah. What about you?
I'd have to say probably my father or my stepmom. My father's kind of obvious, so I won't talk about it. But my stepmom, it's very... optional to, like, inherit a child whenever you get to marry them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of step-parents that just, like, kind of blow off that child because all they really wanted was that person. They fell in love with that person, not the fact that they had 4 kids.
Yeah, right.
Not saying my dad has 4 kids, he has 2. But, that's not when you fall in love with whenever you initially meet somebody. And, you know, in knowing that, if you fall in love with somebody at first sight and then you find out they have kids, it's almost like a bummer. You know what I mean? There's someone in between you and that love. But I feel as though my stepmom has always kind of looked at that as more of a blessing than anything. And that's very special to me because it's very optional for her to love me the way she does. And for her to show up the way she does in my life. And that's very powerful. You know, I didn't come out of her vagina. Like, she didn't birth me, and she has no obligation to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. That's how I feel about Brandon.
Yeah.
Because he was there for a while. I was me and my mom for a long time, but, you know, he was there when I was still very much growing up. Like, I think I was probably still, like, 6 when he was around, and I, like, remember it, at least. Yeah, like, I was young, but he has literally been the most fatherly figure I've had. Honestly, like, over anyone, so that's just, it was super respectable, and I love him so much because he really does make my mom happy to the point where, you know, now I have my sister, and, like, that's such a beautiful thing.
That's so beautiful.
I know, like, that's such a beautiful thing, and I love them both so much. They've really made me the person I am through all of the hard times, all of the fights, all of the good times, and the appreciation. Like, I truly am grateful for it all, and I'm continuously grateful every day. Because they are just great. I love them so much. They do so much for me and for my sister.
Do you want to have children in the future?
Yeah. I would really like to adopt at least 1 or 2 children.
Would you not make some babies naturally?
I personally don't want to, but I understand why people do. And I understand if they do. Like, I have nothing really against them doing it. The only reason I choose not to is because I'm someone who I feel like is super empathetic towards people, but kids especially, and I think it's terrible when kids are in situations when they're in, like, foster care. And I feel like if there's already a bunch of kids who have no one, why not give them someone who actually is going to care about them? Because I don't care who you are, what age you are, whatever. Like, I'm still going to treat you like you're my kid, as long as, like, you know, I can give you that love and support and acceptance, everything you need, and as long as you're accepting as well and, like, you know, mutual with the love, then I would love to, like, you know, build a relationship with them and help them be a very beautiful person going forward.
Do you think that
they deserve it?
Like, okay, so this is coming from my, like, perspective. I was just talking about this with my girlfriend, but do you think that, like, if you were to, like, so I have a brother, right? And, so do you, right?
Yeah, multiple.
Yeah, multiple brothers. If I were to, you know, like have his sperm injected into Selena or, you know, like somebody else or something like that. I was about to say me. That's crazy. I didn't think about it.
I fear you lost that thought real quick. That's crazy.
I meant to say Selena. I
All right, we'll just continue then. I think you should. I think you should just...
Selena. I meant Selena. If I was to have his sperm injected into Selena. Like, do you think that would cause any, like, discrepancy in how I would view the child? Like, do you think, out of, like, a nature standpoint, would I view that child as less than my own if I were to birth it naturally?
I think that just is dependent on you.
I understand that, but if you were in my shoes.
You're asking if... Say it again? Say the question? I need to fully, like, absorb it.
If you were a lesbian.
Right.
And you wanted to have a kid. And you wanted your brother's sperm to, like, be in your wife so that, like, they could have...
Would that make me uncomfortable?
Yes. Not the fact of his sperm being in your wife, but the fact that your child is technically your, like, niece. Or nephew.
I think if that's what I wanted to do, then no, I wouldn't feel weird about it. But because I don't want to do that, I would just feel weird about it, period. But not super weird, just because like, I don't know, I really am just very, like, settled in the thought of I would rather care for a kid than, like, have my own. So I really don't, I have, like, no say really in it. I don't have an opinion much on it. Even if I was in your shoes, I have no idea what I'd do.
Would you feel uncomfortable, like being the like a sperm donor of a child?
Depends on who it's for. Like, I wouldn't just go and do it for money, because I don't like the thought of, like, a little part of me somewhere out there growing up, and I don't know.
With no connection to you as, like, a father.
Or, like, potentially reaching out to me in the future. Like, that's weird. In my opinion, that's weird. Like, I can't do that. I can't handle that interaction. I already am too social.
That's so emotional. That is so emotional to know you have, like, a little Devon.
Especially if they grow up and they're, like, super sentimental about it, and it was just something I did for money. Like, what?
Yeah, like, they're super intrigued about, like, who their father really was, and then, like, they found out you just did it for a fucking check.
However, if, like, one of my, like, if one of my best friends, like, lifelong in the future did ask me if I considered it, and I talked to my partner about it, and they were okay with it, I'd be like, yeah. But it would really be dependent on who that person is. Yeah. And it would have to be someone I'm, like, obviously very closely bonded with.
I wouldn't mind a mixed baby.
We talk about all the time how we'd have a beautiful baby. So
we would have a beautiful fucking child.
And people have told us this.
Like, genuinely, remember... Do you know where I'm going? We convinced this girl... I'm, like, having acid reflux.
In high school.
Thank you, Devon. Jesus Christ, I'm, like,
convinced this girl for 3 days that me and Bella were pregnant with a baby.
Together. It's so evil.
We were testing out our acting skills literally just for fun.
And then, wait, let me say this. On the first day, we just kind of opened her up to the idea that we would be pregnant, right? And, like, you know, she was like, "Oh, that's fucking bullshit." But what is it? A tinkle or something? What did you say the last episode? The last episode.
I don't know.
At the very beginning, it was like a tindred or something.
A touch?
No, you fuckface. It's like ting.
I don't know. You're gonna have to go listen to it.
Okay. But a part of her, genuinely, like, I think she believed us a little. But
she did. She was very skeptical. There was a time where we put up a fake, what is it, a mammogram?
That's what I was getting at. Is the first day, she was very, like, you know, she was kind of, like, off and, like, you know, obviously set aback by it. But then she kind of, we like, printed out this, like, mammogram or whatever of a baby and, like, edited our names at the top.
And, like, a fake date, and oh my god, she believed it.
She fucking believed it. Oh my god, she fucking believed it.
One of the best moments.
And I'm actually kind of pissed that we didn't have a real baby because we would make a beautiful child.
So that is my answer to that question now, by the way.
What would our child look like?
I fear it would be kind of short, because with my mom's genes and your
Yeah.
mom's genes and your dad's genes,
My dad's a short king.
Unless they got that one chance of my dad, it's a short kid.
I mean, I don't. It's fine though. Like,
yeah, I'm okay with it. Just saying.
Because then it looks like my baby.
Short, definitely. I don't think it'd be 4C curls, but definitely some curly hair.
I don't think it'd be like your curls. I think it'd be more close.
Definitely probably more like yours, because it would have more.
No, I think it'd be more like yours, because I think your curl genes are stronger than mine, because mine came out of nowhere. Like, look at my parents.
They'll be stronger, but they'll be stronger than yours, but looser than mine. A good in between. Yeah, I feel like
for sure.
As if this is happening, they will be.
Yeah. Like, you're talking about it as if it's like currently, like we're currently pregnant.
We're having a baby, guys.
What else? It'd be mixed for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really tan, so like I think
it would probably be more light skinned, because I'm already mixed
Isn't
myself.
Light skin the same thing as mixed?
I mean, like, it would literally be light skinned, most likely.
Oh,
like
okay.
it probably wouldn't be dark. Like, I'm darker because my dad's very dark, but I think because I'm already mixed and you're just. I mean, you have a lot of other cultures and ethnicities in you, but like you're predominantly white, so like it'd probably be lighter.
Probably, yeah.
Factually.
So, because you're mixed and I'm white.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of in the middle of like mixed and white. Like that's so weird. But those babies are fucking beautiful with that like olive skin tone.
If it got your eyes, I'd cry.
Oh my god, my gray eyes. I love my gray eyes. My eyes are probably like one of the my favorite things about myself. Cause like gray eyes are like really. Let's look it up. Hold on. I want to know how rare gray eyes are. How rare? Oh my gosh. How rare are gray eyes?
How rare are the gray eyes in the human race?
Less than 3% of the world's population. In the United States, it's estimated that less than 1% of people have gray eyes. It's caused by. Wait, a genetic mutation causes gray eyes by reducing the amount of melanin produced in the That's funny.
Light skin.
That's gonna be light skin, baby. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Anyhow, back on track.
Yeah.
What do we want to talk about today? Well, we talked about fear a little bit, but I just want to talk about fear in our personal lives and maybe how it could apply to other people's lives. So like, give me like, what is something that made you so fucking fearful that you kind of got over that hump too? And think hard. Mom.
I would say honestly, while I was like coming up into like being an older teenager, slowly becoming like an older adult, it was really hard for me to be independent. I was very codependent, and I was very fearful of what I would feel like and what my life would be like if I like started to like regress from hanging out with a lot of people and, you know, taking more time with myself. And I think part of that, most of it, was me being fearful of what I would find sitting with myself, and I knew that, and I knew that I was like ignoring certain things or like, you know,
wow, that hits.
Certain feelings. Yeah, and a lot of people, like, it happens to everyone, like, no doubt. It is a part of like puberty. It's just part of growing up and developing as a human being. But a lot of people just like overlook it, or they continue to just be like, no, it's fine to like, it's kind of sad or it kind of bothers me, but it's not that like important. That is bad, especially if it's something that's reoccurring. And I learned that because I was like, the things that reoccur the most are the things that are genuinely affecting me and making me like act a certain way sometimes when I don't have like patience or, you know, whatever the circumstances where I'm just feeling overwhelmed or something. And I was like, okay, well, this has to change, because I realized because I'm so codependent, and if I was ever in that mood or like something like triggered me and I did act out because I was ignoring like a certain thing, and I realized that, I was like, all right, I'm affecting other people now, so I have to change it. Yeah. And because I got more fearful, not just, and it was terrible, but it also made me like care for myself more, because I realized I cared more for other people and how I was making them feel than how I was making myself feel. And
but I think to prioritize other people's feelings, you have to prioritize yours first. Because, I mean, like, you are... Yeah,
I think it was the quantity of people, not necessarily the care. I think I was putting and that's how I was hurting myself. And I realized that, but I also was like, okay, I can't, like, I'm tired of this. I'm not going to be afraid of it anymore. I'm just going to, like, jump in, see how it goes, like, deal with this shit.
Yeah, I feel like I really align with that. Honestly, like, I feel like I'm definitely coming out of it. It's like a slow burn type of thing to come out of that phase where, like, you're just really afraid to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
And listen, it's okay. Because it did literally take me about a year to a year and a half. And it fully set in after, like, 2. Like, I was, by this point, a junior, about to become a senior. Like, I was fully, like, embedded in it. And now, like, it is, like, cemented in my, like, core of, like, who I am. To, like, as of this phase in my life right now. Yeah, I cherish my alone time now. I love thoughts of, like, going on little dates with myself or, like, doing sacred little things just for me that, like, no one else either knows about or, like, I don't do that thing with anybody else, so it's just for me.
It's sacred.
And I love it.
I was just talking about this. I, like...
It's so special. Like, you gotta learn what it is. You gotta, like, get into the flow of it. Like, try things and see what you do and don't like. But, like, when you find it, it's good.
It's crazy. I was just talking about this with Selena. Like, I have this thing in a relationship. Okay, so, like, Selena's, like... As you probably know, she kind of, like, wants to tell everyone about everything. She does in her day. I don't know if that applies to you. I don't know if she texts you about that shit, but she'll text me.
She's a very excited person.
She's excited to live life and tell everybody about her life, and that is beautiful. I love that about her, and I think I'm, like, very enthralled with that because I'm not like that at all. Like,
nice word. Good vocab.
But on the same token, because I'm not like that, I kind of don't understand where she's coming from whenever she tells me, you know, I just took a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do shit like that. And it's kind of something you have to figure out in a relationship because it's like, I really cherish, like, sacred things to me. I told her this specifically. I was like, that I don't tell her things I'm going to talk about in the podcast. Number one, because most of the time we don't even know because it just kind of flows. But, you know, even if I did, I wouldn't because it's like, the things I talk about on this podcast, they only get to be your guys's, like, the audience's, whenever it drops, Sunday 9 a.m. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, subtle plug, but, like, that, it's only yours, and it should be everyone's at the same time. Like, it's very sacred to us, so therefore it's very sacred to me personally that it's everyone's at the same time, and it's our thoughts, and nothing can... like, come in and infiltrate that. Like, I can't have Selena's opinion on it because she doesn't even know. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, that's so important to me that it's just us that know what we're going to talk about on the podcast. And I don't even mean to make that about the podcast. That's just an example. But
no, but kind of throwing that back to what you said earlier about the podcast, I think that's why I think just being able to, like, you know, have an outlet like this where you can talk about things and, like, realize what your fears are and, like, being able to express them in a place that you feel comfortable, whether that's a place like this or, like, when I'm with a certain friend or, like, you know, it's just a good way to figure out what your outlets are and what you like. And this is something I'm glad that we found because it truly has made us better people and it has made us, I think, smarter and a bit wiser as we go on.
For sure.
It's only been a few episodes in, but I mean, as people we grow and we have actually had to do research for certain topics that we were interested in for, like, the podcast. So it taught us to, like, you know, learn more about things we're interested in and, like, really get into it and understand it. And the thing is, it's so beneficial because it connects us as friends, but it also connects us with you, the audience, with our friends and new people that'll come on and, like, whether that happens or not or picks up, the fact that anyone is listening and is, like, appreciating and, like, even getting help from this sometimes I've heard is a beautiful thing, and that's why we do it, because it feels good, it is good for the people, it's good for us. So find that thing, you know?
Yeah, find that thing you love, honestly. For a long time, I think journaling was my thing. Not journaling, but taking notes on, like, shit was my thing. I have this notebook. I kind of stopped taking notes on it, and I want to pick that back up, because I think, like, that notebook is, like, an insight into, like, what my brain looks like. Like, the last thing I put in there was a sketch of jeans that I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. They're, like, jeans, like, based on the Guess music video with Charlie XCX.
That would be such a cool concept. I'll
have to show you it later, but it's super cool. And it's, like, I literally wrote that down on a whim because I was like, what if I bought a sewing machine and made these jeans? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I think finding your creative outlet like that is so helpful. Like, if you don't have a creative outlet, like, find one if you can.
And it doesn't need to be a big thing, but make it your thing and make it something that actually, like, means something to you enough where you can feel vulnerable and express. Because, like, you can't fully express yourself if you're not vulnerable enough with whatever you're doing. So, like, find something that you're really comfortable doing, that you like doing, and use that. Like, truly.
I want to start making some clothes, I think. I think that's going to be my next, like,
You should.
endeavor. I really, like, my grandma has a sewing machine for me. Like, just already up at her house. So, like,
I'll support you. I'll help you through it.
I don't know. I want to start, like, making, like, reworking and stuff like that. I think reworking is so cool. Like, to go, like, to take something from, like, that's, like, $6 at a thrift store and turn it into something that's, like, you know, higher end. It's not even about the money. It's just about, like, creating something new out of
like how it has so much more value to you because you made it literally with your time and effort.
Yeah, I had this one Fila, like, crew neck that somebody reworked from Europe. It's literally, like, somebody in Europe fucking put their greasy paws on it and like made it theirs, and I'm wearing it in Pittsburgh. Like, I love it. That's crazy to me. I'd love to do that. And that inspiration kind of came from this guy. I go to this vintage store, and it's this guy who quit his job, like, literally, like, a couple Thursdays ago.
Oh.
Yeah, and he told me that he quit his job that week that I saw him, and that he's following his passion in making clothes. And, like, I just thought that was so fucking cool, because it's, like, I've also wanted to, like, make clothes. And, like, what's stopping me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just gotta make time for the things you love. And that's a hard thing for people to accept. Because...
Yeah. It's hard to accept that there's other things you have to love in this world that aren't people.
Yeah. That takes, like, actual time and, like, commitment out of your day or, like, schedule that you have. And, like, it doesn't need to be super organized and formulated, but I mean, like, you do have to set aside some of your time and effort. And, like, I think a lot of it's just overthinking, because half the time when we're like, we don't want to do something because we think it's going to take forever, it's just that. It's just a thought. It's just something you're thinking. Like, I guarantee when you do that task, it'll take you 5 times less the amount of time you thought it would.
I think the first thing you need to do in order to kind of take action is to acknowledge that your thought is valid, like, and is what you should be doing. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of the time that, like, people say they're overthinking, and I don't think that overthinking is necessarily a bad thing, because if it's coming from your brain, it's obviously coming from a place of somewhat reason, and you should listen. Like, take that action. If it comes from your brain and your subconscious, like, take that action, because it's what your brain is trying to tell you to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Needs to be acted upon, because overthinking is not necessarily a bad thing, or even a thing. Overthinking is just thinking at a higher level.
And it's just a choice on which one you choose to take action with. That's really it. You just have to make a choice. If you're going to think many thoughts, which one do you actually want to do? Which one do you actually want to, like, you know, act upon? That's really all it comes down to, and we just forget how simple it is because we're too busy thinking about all the alternatives. It's good to go off of, like, one or two, but then when, like, you keep going, because, like, I don't know, you get worried, you know?
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
What is it? Caution breeds fear. Okay, I want to talk about this, but we were talking about, like, how kind of just confusing and odd August was, like, last episode. I want to talk about, like, what specifically made us feel that way, because I feel like we didn't really dive into that. We just dove into the astrological perspective of it. I mean, like, obviously that's fun to talk about and shit,
no,
like Mercury and retrograde, but, you know, there was some shit that happened in August that really affected my mindset. So I want to talk about, like, I mean, what specifically for you was, like, the holy shit moment where you were like, this August is weird. Like,
well, it was my second month being home after being away, so it was, like, just kind of surreal how, like, how fast I felt like everything happened and was moving. And how fast I was moving.
What do you mean by that? Like, how fast you were settling in?
Yeah. Like, I feel like because you know me, I, like, have to catch up with all the people that missed me in my mind. I'm like, you know, so I'm seeing everyone and this and that. And then I also went to Alaska, which was a good thing. But, like, it was just a very busy month.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was getting really worried because I was also about to turn 20 and there was all these things I wanted done. And, like, I had, like, an itinerary or whatever. But, like, realistically, it took time for those things, and I didn't, like, the human brain is impatient, like Alex said, but it's just, I had to slow down, because it was just all stressful, and I was overwhelming myself, and I was, like, I was just neglecting myself mentally for a bit, and I realized that, and I was like, all right, you need to stop. What are you putting your other energy towards? And it was mainly just all BS things that were distractions away from what I really needed to be, like, handling.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, that thing probably wouldn't take that long if I would have, like, just done it. But it was the fact that everything just felt like so much at once, and I just allowed myself to, like, sit in that. And it was just wild that I let myself get like that after so long. And I think I was just like, I'm done. Again, it was one of those moments where I was like, all right, pick yourself up, dust everything off, and get back to it. And I did.
All your fucking britches.
Yeah. I pulled them up, and you know what? I started going out there and working.
Out there. I'm weak as fuck.
But yeah.
I think,
what about you?
I think, like, for me personally, I think that, like, definitely my relationships were, like, under the magnifying glass in August. That was tough.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think I was having, like a identity crisis kind of going into college.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is something, like, that's really interesting to talk about. Like, going into college really affected the way my mind viewed things in the sense that, like, like, whenever you're in your high school and, like, I don't know if, I mean, we were in the same high school, so you kind of understand, like, where I fit in. And it's, like, I was loved by, like, all. You know what I mean? Like, like, a lot of people liked me. And, like, I wasn't really generally hated by anyone. And, like, to go from a place where everyone knows you and everyone kind of, like, adores you in a way is, like, to go from that to, like, somewhere where nobody knows you at all. Nobody has any love for you or any obligation to love you at all because they just met you. And, like, to go from that to that is such a... It rocks your world, honestly. It's so insane. Like,
you have to be yourself for the first time again.
It's insane to have to make friends again after 12 years and like, put out this image. And a lot of people... I think this is something interesting as well. Is, like, a lot of people go into college and they're like, well, none of these people know me, so I can just portray myself as whatever. And it's like, I'd rather stay as true as I possibly can to myself, not including who my friends made me in high school, who my teachers made me in high school. Like, what makes me me, and how can I project that on the world so that I may make the closest friends who align with my values and, you know, love me as a person, because that's what I portrayed to them this entire friendship. And, like, knowing that I'm starting something that will create lifelong friendships based on what I put out there right now is so intense. It's so intense to think about, like, whatever image I'm portraying right now is the image I may be building for the next 20 years of my life. You know what I mean? With these people that I'm surrounded with. It's a head trip for sure. And it kind of set my head for a loop. And I don't know. It's something you have to get used to going into college, the fact that nobody knows you. But it's honestly, it's kind of a comfort. Like, there's been a couple times I've tripped, like, going up the stairs and
humbling
on the side, for sure. But, like, nobody knows you.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the issue?
And they know what happened. They're like, damn, that was me earlier today. Like, it's not even like, damn, haha. It's like, no, that happened to me.
I feel like there's a lot more empathy at college campuses than, like, people expect. Like, I feel like a lot of people are very...
Because everyone's out here living now.
Swear. It's not even living. It's surviving whenever you go to college. So it's, like, honestly, to find that empathy in, like a random conversation or maybe holding the door for somebody, like, that is kind of what keeps people going. I always hold the door for people. I always say thank you to, like, the workers at the food places and stuff, like, because we're all surviving in this in this world, and to know that there's still empathy and connection that's blossoming amongst people here is heartwarming, and it keeps people going, and I think it's important to do that.
Kindness costs nothing.
Kindness costs absolutely $0. Neither does being a hater, though.
People say that, but I mean, it kind of does. It costs your energy.
I'm fucking with you.
No.
Being a hater does cost energy, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Like, I think of it like this way, like...
No, sometimes it's appropriate. There's, like, I always say there's two balance. You gotta balance it out.
I feel like... I think of being a hater as, like, if I had, like, a hater bank. And I'm, like, spending my hate coins. My hate coins every time.
A hater bank, a little piggy bank full of hate.
Oh, God, my piggy bank of hate, like, goes down so much whenever I'm driving.
We gotta bury that in the ocean.
I lose major funds whenever I'm driving. You've seen the way I drive, bitch.
And that's okay.
Hate people on the road.
That's
I
okay,
hate people on the road.
There's worse people that I've been in the car with. And it's just not.
Who? Oh.
No. Well, yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
I really wouldn't pick that up.
No, well, we'll see.
If it did,
if it did, you're cooked, bro.
I'm not editing that shit out. I don't feel like it.
I'll say it.
I'll say it right now. Anyways, I feel like that's what defined my August, was just a huge identity crisis. And oh god, I feel like there's so many isms I'm affected by in college. Like, I'm serious. Like
Just what a way to deliver that sentence.
Isms. Like, I mean, in the fact that like homophobia is a thing, and like I've never experienced that in my like school, because it's like everybody knows you, everybody loves you because they know you on a deep personal level, and it's like, how could you not like someone that's very true to themselves when there's not a lot of people here that are? But then you go to college and it's like a lot of people are themselves here, and you honestly get to choose which gay person you love. There's not just one of them. Yep. You know what I mean? It's very different in college. And like, I also like, I'm 4'11". Like, I do not look my age at all. So it's kind of a trip for people, but also people underestimate me, and that's something to step up to. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fact that I won't let that shit slide. Yeah. Like, I won't let people talk to me about my height. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So, like, I don't know. That's really what defined my August. That was a lot of words.
It's okay. You know, I think what always pulls me out of something truly is my passion. Because I have so much passion just for life, and therefore everything that I care about, even if it is in a minimal way, that passion bleeds into it. It's all in different levels, but like, I truly do set aside time and effort towards the things and the people that I care about, even if it takes that time. Like, it might take some time, but like, I do like accomplish those things, or I work towards those things, and it always makes me feel good, because it's something meaningful to me. It's something that's genuinely creating not just necessarily some kind of product or something to obtain, but like, it's like a lifestyle. And when I feel good about what I'm doing, right, when I feel good about what I'm doing, and I feel good about my lifestyle and how I'm living, everything I'm experiencing is amplified automatically, and I'm already trying to lead with like so much love. So like, it's just a good like cocktail of emotions and feelings, and it's just, I don't know, it's something that I try to remind myself of and be very gracious and grateful for, because in general it always brings me back, and I'm glad I get the reminders of why it's so special, because it also, you know, makes it a sacred thing.
I think one of my greatest passions in life is probably learning, and like, that sounds so corny. I actually just had to write a college essay about like my passions and stuff like that, and I didn't put that on there because it's obviously, it sounds corny to like college people, because it's like, well, obviously like learning, you're here. Yeah. But in general, I think that like learning is probably one of my biggest passions, in the fact that like, I want to be a Renaissance woman. Like, I want to know a little bit about everything. Yeah. And that's so important to me. Like, even if it's shit I'm not generally interested in, like history, I honestly could care less. But like, I still find that shit. That's my favorite. I think some parts of history are interesting. I think the parts, I was actually just talking with someone today about how like,
I think learning about how history is real and how it's separated a lot, like, and divided to make people like think certain things, or like
propaganda.
I think not necessarily, yes, but like also just in general, like the stuff you learn in school is not like all necessarily the whole truth and stuff.
Well, no, it's the tale of the victors. It's who won.
Right. I love discovering everything and seeing both sides of each like events and stuff. It's just nice.
I think it's so interesting how like that saying about like how history is told from the perspective of the winners. I think that's so rampant in America. Like, we learn slavery, and we learn, you know, World War II, World War I, like Vietnam War, the Cold War. We learn, especially the Cold War, we learn that stuff from the perspective of America. The Iraqi War in Afghanistan. Right. That is from the perspective of Americans, and it's so westernized where you can't even empathize with these like people that were truly affected by these horrible atrocities. Like,
I feel like because we're so used to that too now in like today's society, and like for, like, I feel like specifically social media and, like, YouTube, like, new age and, like, stuff, that's why people are, like, really eating up this really personalized, unique, stylized videos that people are putting out, or these, like, kind of cinematic storytellings, and, like that's why essays? I fell in love with it. Yeah, like, video essays, like, cinematic vlogs, like, stuff like that, because
they're very nuanced, and they're very
personal, and it's not from, like, the perspective of someone who's always, like, winning or, like, doing great. It's literally real life, and people just love it.
There's a lot of people that I know, like, that eat up those type of videos, because they're just so intimate, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, whenever you're reading, like, a high school textbook, it's like, whoever wrote this has a bias. And they have a bias because they're, one, getting paid to write this by someone who wants to write that in a certain way, from a certain perspective. So you know what you're getting is not 100%, real, and it's not 100% told from a very nuanced and unbiased perspective.
Yeah, it's not very raw at all.
Yeah, whenever you're doing it on YouTube, I mean, obviously people get paid to do YouTube, but if you're doing YouTube instead of like a 9 to 5, it's obviously your passion. So you feel more inclined to tell it from an unbiased point of view. And I think that those are, like, really inspiring and really strike a chord with people. I love video essays. I love video essays about, like, physics history. That shit's so interesting to me, and that's so nerdy. But I think it's just so cool. Like, there's this one guy, Veritasium. He makes fucking awesome videos. They're so fucking cool, and, like, the animation is great. So, I don't know. But that's me personally. Anyways, let's get back. Let's get back. But, like, my passion would probably be learning a little bit about a lot of things. And then music. I was just thinking about how, like, the song Escapism, like, that song kind of gives you a feeling that, like, you really can't put into words. Like, I was thinking, like, if I was tasked to write about a song that I was, like, really passionate about, like Escapism, like, that song, it gives you a certain feeling, and, like, I don't think I could write about it. I genuinely don't, because I just think that feeling is so indescribable of finding a good euphoric song.
I agree.
I don't know.
I mean, I think my passions sound corny as hell, because I'm such, like, an empathetic person, and I'm just an emotional person, but, like, I'm so passionate about, like, human connection, and also about learning. I'm more passionate about, like, learning, like, I guess it is mainly history, but it's a lot of things. I like learning about people and cultures, and, like, just diversities of everything. Definitely psychology. That's something that's, like, I think just part of my core, like, ongoing, like, subconscious. I can't even control it at this point. It's just something I'm always seeking out. But the biggest one is definitely, like, human connection. I love people. Like, I love my people. I love love. Like, I just love being able to express yourself and share yourself with another person, and vice versa, and have it be such a mutual and ongoing and growing connection that it's just, that is also, like, euphoric in a way, because it's also not perfect, but it's something that's so, like, safe and secure, while also being, like,
kind of fruitful,
effortless. Like, it's insane. I just love it.
I think the prospect of, like, establishing yourself and being, known as somebody that's easy to connect with is kind of, like, very rewarding. Like,
right.
Knowing, like, I think whenever people think of you, they think of someone that's very intelligent and very... It's true. I get people texting me all the time about this podcast, but they're like, Devon is so smart.
Oh,
and
stop.
wise and stuff.
Guys, I'm dumb sometimes. I'm only smart sometimes.
But, like, knowing that that's the way people view you, and that's the way you're established in this world, that's the name you make for yourself, is, like, there's almost some credibility involved with having human connection with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's something I'm definitely, I feel like, am going to master for myself, and I think it's something I'm continuously gaining more knowledge and experience with, but so far in that experience, I think I'm very good with it based off other people's feedback and just trust they've put in me and vulnerability that they've expressed with me, and I love it. I love that I'm able to help people or guide people or just support them in any way I can. and that it impacts them and like makes them change their life for the better, or gives them that strength or idea that they can be who they want to be or be better. Because I've also had people say that, and I always tell them it's not me. Like, you came to me about something, and all I did was listen and or potentially give you feedback, and you took that information and you picked yourself up with your feelings, with that knowledge, and you changed your life.
Like 99% of the work is done internally. It's not, nobody can fix your issue for you, and just because you're a beacon of light to other people does not mean that that light shines through in the darkest of moments.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that like think that if you find that one good person, they're gonna change your life, and it's not necessarily like that. Like, I've been friends with you for 10 years, and
yeah, like, you can be enlightened.
You've been a rock in my life, and you've enlightened me several times on several different issues, but it was on me.
Yeah, you know 100% I mean? Every time. I will never ever take the credit, and I never have. Because it's not my place. I am just completely and indescribably grateful to have done that for people and continuing to do that for people. That's why I want to learn how to do it professionally if I can for, more specific situations, but I will always do it in my day-to-day life until the day I die.
I mean, they always say that, like, by teaching other people, you learn yourself.
Yeah, and that's why I know and feel that it's my purpose, because it's always led me to a better place in life, or made me realize something about myself or about my life.
All-encompassing and, like, full circle.
Yeah, it's, like, the best cycle in my life, and that's why I follow it, and why I think people perceive me that way, is just because I really am just as present with it as I can, and I'm as, like, open-minded and accepting with a lot of it as I can be. Obviously, there's moments where, like, I'm human and I am very defiant, but, like, just do your best and realize that that is enough. And, things are going to be hard, but when you're going through a lot of struggle, that means you're most likely going through a change, and that change is a good thing as long as you're allowing it to be. Your mind is all about, your mindset affects your life. If you have a good mindset, you have a good life. So you need to make sure you have multiple perspectives on things, and you don't just close your mind off to one point of view. That will always nip you at some point.
Nip you? That's funny. I was thinking about this today, and I just want to ask you real quick before we do, like, the songs of the week. I actually didn't prepare any, but I definitely can find some. Okay. But, how much... Okay, I don't know how to ask this question, so don't come at me.
It's fine. Just, like... Ask it the best way you can.
Okay,
to get me to understand.
Let me like paint the story. So I was like talking to somebody today, and they like came up to me and they were like, "Hey Bella, like, how are you? It's been a long time since I've seen you." And I was like, "Oh, it's great. I forgot your name." And she like told me, I said I'm surprised you remember my name. Like, you haven't seen me in a while. She was like, "Yeah, did you forget mine?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." And in that moment, I kind of had this like. I stepped away from my body for a second. I was like, okay,
Real.
Like, that could have been really embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel much embarrassment.
Yeah. I think it was like, oh, that's so silly. I love that.
Right. And but my question for you is that, like, do you think that you have to kind of let go of embarrassment in order to embrace passion?
100%. What made me...
and let me add on to that. And to what extent? Do you think people should still be embarrassed in their life? Or do you think that we should get rid of embarrassment entirely as a social construct?
Okay, no. Embarrassment is definitely, I think, a crucial part of development in a way.
So basically you're saying bullying needs to happen?
Not necessarily. This isn't something I've done actual research on, so this is not something I can say scientifically, but
this is personal opinion.
Through experience and personal opinion, I think if there's something that's, like, morally and justifiably wrong, like, as a whole for humanity, or, like, something that's, like, a behavioral, or, like, I guess you could say cultural or environmental, like, aspect,
Mm-hmm.
of, like, wherever you live, or, like, what the typical norm is for you being raised in, like, wherever you are, or however your culture is. I think you should have embarrassment in the sense that, like, if you do something wrong that is genuinely, like, not good for you, or, like, the people you may have affected, you should be embarrassed. That's something you should reflect on. That helps you, like, be like, okay, I made a mistake. I'm not going to do that again. But if you are just having, like, simple anxiety about, like, simple interactions, or, like, just day-to-day life stuff that happens, like walking past someone on the street, worried about what they're, like, thinking of you, or, like, if you spill a coffee on yourself, or, like, even if you do trip up the stairs in school, whether you're in high school or college or wherever, or even at work. It's like, oh, that's unfortunate, but that's human. And, like, if someone is truly going to put so much thought into it to the point where they make fun of you, that's embarrassing for them, not for you. You shouldn't be embarrassed. That should be something that's like, oh, like, are you okay? Like, if someone's around, they ask if you're okay. That's just, like, you know, being human. That's
also, I
humility.
think laughing is, like, laughing at somebody that just, like, had something embarrassing happen to them is not mean.
No.
I don't think that's mean. I think it's so normal to have that type of reaction.
And
I laugh at people fucking falling all the time.
And it's human nature, I think, all of the time.
I think so, too. Like, you have to literally hold that shit back. I don't think it's wrong to laugh at somebody like that. But
I think it's
wrong
if
to walk by and not ask.
I think it's wrong if you laugh and you don't, like, appreciate or offer any help. Not appreciate, if you just offer any help or, like, you know.
Because some things in life are just funny as fuck. Like, you spilled a coffee on yourself. How silly. Like, that's funny.
And some stuff isn't that serious. Like, you really don't need to be embarrassed over simple stuff is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there's scenarios where it's very circumstantial where you should be embarrassed because it can help you, like, you know, have a learning or a teaching moment and really become better. But about simple stuff like that, don't get embarrassed. Like, truly, like, I think that does help you become more calm and, like, become more yourself because embrace the cringe.
I think it plays a big role in defining your identity. Like, letting go of embarrassment really helps you define who you are to yourself and to others. Like, like whenever I said that to that girl, I didn't give a fuck. I was not embarrassed. I didn't feel any embarrassment at all. That's human nature to forget about people's names. I didn't feel embarrassed at all. And then I just kindly asked her to tell me again. And from that, she gathered that I wasn't judgmental and that she doesn't have to be judgmental of me either.
Yeah.
And that also I am not insecure of, you know, being put in my place and clocked.
Not even. Like, just being educated. Like, just being, like, you know, corrected. Like, because some people react to simple stuff like that as, like, they hate me now. Like, like, no, like, you don't need to behave that way. It really is just so simple. It's not that serious. Don't ever think it.
So, like, by not being embarrassed in that conversation, I feel like I established more than if I was to just lie and be like, yeah, I remember your name.
Absolutely, because
you know what I mean?
You'd be like, why did I do that? And then you'd overthink even more about stuff that doesn't matter.
And that kind of ruins it, because it's like, now I don't know this bitch's name, I'm never going to talk to her.
Yeah, you're going to forget again, because you're more worried about how you felt and how awkward that was than you actually trying to get the source that you went to for, you know, that information. That's wild. But, no, yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Anyways, I just wanted to ask that question because I had that moment. Again, this is one of those moments where I was like, that is a podcast moment where I need to think about this deeper and then talk about it. Because it was so simple and I felt deeper feelings about it. And this is the place to talk about that, so. Well,
yeah, there's this quote I saw that I want to leave you with on it, and it is, embrace your cringe. Like, things you find cringy about yourself are typically the things that you are really you, that, like, come out and, like, are expressed through your actions or your behaviors, and you go, ooh, like, I don't know if I want people to see that. But if that's the real you and it's truly not harming anyone or, like, you know, discriminating against anyone or anything, just do it. Like, embrace it. Don't worry about what other people think, because it really doesn't matter. If you're happy, let that be how you live. You truly don't need to be embarrassed about who you are at your core, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else.
And that's on period.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I love you guys. Like, don't hurt yourselves. Like, be yourself. Love yourself.
Don't hurt yourself for me, baby. Please eat.
God. No. What? Oh, God. What bad?
Oh, God. Smut.
But, yeah.
Okay. Now, I feel like we've got the bulk of the podcast talked about. But, let's hear some songs.
I have one song only.
You have only one song?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll compensate.
Okay.
Okay.
You go first.
I'll go first? Okay. My first song is probably going to be Salvatore. Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
That is a cigar song. You gotta smoke a cigar to that. Yeah. I've been real into that song.
Yeah. That song is real good.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, another one, Duvet by Boa.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
Me and Devon were listening to that, and she said she cooked. She said, go, what is it? Go run in a flower field or something. That's what he said.
Cooked. She said, go run in a flower field with this song. That's exactly what she gave.
It's so fucking fall. It's so fall.
And you don't seem to understand.
Did we just harmonize?
We did.
I love you, I think.
You think?
I think.
I love you. I fear.
Okay. All right. Number 3, Titi me perguntou. Titi
So
me
good.
perguntou se tem competition, Olivia.
By Bad
I've been
Bunny.
real into fucking Spanish music recently. Get into
That's
some
what it
Spanish
is.
music.
Me too.
Really?
Every
downloaded
time-
Duolingo today.
Every time. Well, I've been on that, but every time I drove my mom's car, blasting it.
Swear,
I love it.
it's just
so
a vibe.
good.
I feel like Maddie from Euphoria. That's exactly what I feel
That's
like.
so funny.
Maddie Perez. Okay, but I downloaded Duolingo today because I love Titi me perguntou so much. I need to.
You said
understand
I gotta learn
lyrics.
Spanish.
Yes, there's somebody on YouTube that did like an English cover of it, but it just doesn't sound right. I need to sing it in Spanish.
Yeah.
So,
No, I like it because I'm traveling. So like, and it's just nice to learn another language. But
For sure.
I think it's just really nice.
I also
Talis is
love
actually learning
Spanish.
Ukrainian.
Who?
Talis is learning Ukrainian,
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
and that's a very interesting. I don't know. See, that's what I mean. Like, people are so cool. I love talking to them and getting to know them.
I loved Spanish in high school. I literally wanted to do a Spanish minor for a while because, like,
I did, and then my teacher got arrested.
oh, I remember that. So that's not really that's not in
I
it.
saw her at the zoo last time I went with my sister.
No, you didn't.
I did! And someone else said they saw her at the zoo the year before!
No!
She loves that zoo!
Why did you just hit me?
Because it was funny, I'm sorry. I love
Anyways, number 4, Moonlight by Kelly Uchis.
it. Good one.
Another Spanish song. And I don't give a fuck, though. I don't give a fuck. And then probably, and this one's just for funsies, She Will by, Lil Wayne and Drake. I'm sorry, that shit just brings out, like, my inner masculine, like, my inner, like,
I'm so dead.
inner, like, spit on it from the back. Like, that's exactly
Oh my god.
like,
Okay.
That's just, it brings out,
When
like,
you
the,
hear
the
my one and only
nastiest dog.
song, you're gonna be so, like, caught.
Taken aback. Okay, I'm ready. Wait, should I drum?
It's not that. I mean, I don't think
wanna
people are gonna
know.
be that amazed. It's Arcadia by Lana Del
Are
Rey.
you fucking me?
After you just talked about She Will.
She will. Bitch, I'm over here like.
And listen, the reason is
she
that's
just
just how
started
I've
to
been
pop it.
feeling. This week has been Arcadia, and it's been so nice.
Arcadia's good. It's just a little too slow in my opinion.
But that's you know what? That's what I
That's-
like about
yeah,
it in this
that-
time period. Because I've really been enjoying a lot recently, just like taking my time with it, really like feeling it, and like there's so many little things I noticed. Like I've seen a lot of little pairs of animals recently, like flying
That's so
around together,
cute.
running around together, and I just think that's so cute. And like whether or not that may be a sign from the universe or something, I don't know. But I would love
Oh, shut
to
the
take it
fuck
that
up.
way.
You're cute.
Ambitiously, but no, in general, like,
Ambitiously, wishful
seriously
thinking.
though, I've been seeing stuff like that, and I've just like been seeing all these like plants slowly turn like to their fall phase, and it's just I've been appreciating and seeing so many beautiful things in the world, and
Arcadia
I love
is
taking my
that mood.
time. Yeah,
Is that? I
and
get that.
that's like the track that's been playing in my mind each time I'm like walking alone or I like notice a beautiful moment like that. So that's my one and only pick for the week, and it's just embedded in my soul. I think it's gonna fade out by next week. Maybe,
It's gonna fade out.
maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Honestly,
And
it might
make
go
room
a
for
full
another.
week.
Make room for another though. So-
It'll fade into another song, and then we'll see which one it is.
Exactly. My honorable mention is Water by Tyler. Make me sweat.
That is a good song.
She won a VMA
If
for
we're-
that song.
Really?
Yes, bitch. She won a VMA.
As if you're her, fist bump me. Okay. My one shout out is let's see. Actually, what else have I been listening to this week?
Well, if you don't got one, you don't gotta say one.
No, I kind of do.
Well, think of it.
It's kind of
Do you
nothing
need
breaks like
another
a heart.
Stop.
Miley Cyrus.
Stop. Did I play that in the car with you, or did you just?
No, it's been coming on.
Okay,
a
I put that
little
on.
bit.
I put that on 5 times this week. I swear to God.
It kept coming on in Tatum's car. I think you did it. I think
That
we were in
song-
sync so much that you made it happen to her car.
Fucking that song. You know what? You're riding on a horse, right? You're galloping. Lasso in
Heard
hand.
you on the phone last night.
Your lasso in hand, cowboy hat.
No, not lasso in hand. You're going, and then you get a cigarette. You want a cigarette?
You're like galloping, like holding on to like the saddle.
You're getting like your imaginary ex. Your ex. You're just like, ugh. You ride them through the mud. You drag them through the mud.
like behind the horse.
I think I'm gonna be a cowboy for Halloween because
I've
ultimately
wanted to be a sexy cowboy or a sexy prisoner.
foreshadowing my future.
I wanted to be
Not the prisoner, the cowboy.
I wanted to be YB from Coraline so
Oh,
bad.
you should have been. Oh my god, no, I
Because
could
I
have been
look
in
like
Yellow
him.
Jacket for once. I could have been Black Coraline.
Throwback to me and Devin, age what, 10?
Yeah.
Age 10. We were it. He was the it clown. For some reason, he was the it clown.
Well, it made sense because you were smaller and you had like the stature for
your
Georgie.
black ass is fucking
And
Pennywise.
guess what? It was clown makeup, so it was easy to cover up. It was white and red.
He was white as shit.
No, but I look like Pennywise on like crack. Like I was definitely. It was good for a 10-year-old, but
It looked like Pennywise overdosed. Like it was
like
really...
Pennywise actually did get kicked his ass.
Like in the first movie, they defeated the fuck out of him, and like that's the one.
Like my face was cracked like his. It was just being put back together. You know, my plastic surgeon.
He was deflated as well as he was in the second movie.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight.
Fucking Pennywise. If he's
Twink Pennywise.
Pennywise on. Wait, what's the fucking weight loss medicine?
Pennywise on
Ozempic.
Pennywise on Ozempic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I'm making me sweat, making me water. We need to quit this.
Penny's Ozempic.
Okay.
I'm so glad we got to have fun and have serious topics with you guys today. It was a good talk.
I personally don't have a quote for the week. I know you said we were gonna keep doing that.
I will. If you continue because I am full of them till the day I'm off the earth.
If you got one, say one.
Okay. Today's quote is. Wait, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh! Caution breeds fear.
There you go. There's yours.
That's mine.
Mine is don't let fear hold you back. It's simple, but it can be as complex as you take it. If there's something that has truly been like holding you back from doing something you really want to do or something you really love, stop. Stop letting it hold you back.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Do the thing, man. Like,
Do the roar.
let love lead instead of fear.
Ooh.
And on that note, I love you guys. I have faith in all of you.
I love you guys as well, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. It's Sunday, whenever this is being published.
Whenever you listen, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you've had a great week and will continue to as well.
I hope your weekend was great. I hope you got fucking plastered and you're recovering from your hangover today.
Or had a peaceful time outside and enjoyed the
Fuck
sunlight.
WVU. Fuck WVU. It's a backyard brawl.
Okay.
I'm at all H2P.
Well, I fear I'll be on a picnic while you're...
I fear I won't be going to the game either. I didn't get tickets. So, but anyways, fuck WVU. WVU.
Her brain's shutting down for the podcast, guys.
Drink water. Stay hydrated or stay hydrated.
Don't dehydrate. Don't dehydrate. Stay hydrated.
Don't dehydrate or drydrate.
Junk drawer?
Make some good love this week, maybe. You know? Love is
Express
good.
some good love.
Express some good love. Make some good love. Have some good love in your life.
Yeah.
And lead with love. And we will see you next week, actually. Yeah. So have a great week, everybody. Hope your Mondays are great. Hope your Tuesdays are great. And all the rest of the days of the week.
All the rest of the days. And then why?
Yeah! All right. We love you so much.
Mwah. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.